Different date, same fate. I'ma knock out Jake Paul.
Listen, I started Jake off and I'm gonna finish him.
Mike Tyson just brutally warned to finish Jake Paul next week. I know you're thinking, but wasn't the fight postponed like months away? Because Tyson had an ulcer flare-up and decided to push the fight back a bit. But Jake, in typical Jake fashion, decides to cancel the whole thing and call out Mike Perry instead. Seriously, Jake? It's like he thinks he's the only one with a say in this. He forgot Tyson's got a say too. And he's not exactly thrilled about being sidelined. Now Jake has to face the music. Tyson's ready to settle this once and for all. And he's not messing around. Mike is not someone who just fills up and bursts. He's more like a pressure cooker. And Jake has been cranking up the heat drop by drop since this fight was announced. The boxing world has been buzzing with skepticism ever since the matchup between Mike Tyson and Jake Paul was revealed. People couldn't decide if this was just another circus act or an actual fight. Even the Saudi chief, who's promoting this spectacle, jumped on social media and practically begged Tyson to forget the script and truly beat Jake Paul.
So many people, even the Saudi chief, got on social media and said, Mike, forget the script. Beat this guy.
The Saudi chief's encouragement for Tyson to ditch any scripted nonsense and genuinely go after Paul, adding a whole new level of authenticity to the event. This fight isn't just about the cash or the fame. It's about pride and proving oneself. Tyson, with his storied career, has nothing to lose and everything to prove. Paul, despite his youth and bravado, is stepping into the ring with a living legend. And he knows it. That's why everyone's now wondering if this fight is going to be the real deal or just another YouTube drama. At this recent press conference, things got even juicier. Both fighters traded verbal jabs, making the atmosphere so tense you could cut it with a knife. Jake Paul, usually brimming with over-the-top confidence, seemed a bit wobbly. Sure, his bravado was there, but there was a noticeable quiver in his voice as he tried to trash-talk Tyson. You could almost smell the fear. For a moment, it looked like things might explode right then and there. Despite all the skeptics and the mounting pressure, Mike Tyson's transformation has been nothing short of jaw-dropping. Training videos of Iron Mike have been flooding social media, and let me tell you, the man is a beast. At 58, Tyson is defying every expectation, hitting the gym with the same ferocity that made him a legend in the first place. These clips have not only silenced many critics, but also sent a clear message. Tyson is not here to play games. The press conference itself was a spectacle. Tyson, with his intimidating presence, made it crystal clear that he wasn't taking Paul lightly.
Listen, I started Jake off and I'm gonna finish him.
You can see he was focused, serious, and ready to show everyone that age is just a number. Meanwhile, Paul was trying desperately to keep up his tough guy act. He threw out insults and tried to get under Tyson's skin, but there was a clear undercurrent of fear. Paul knows he's up against a real fighter, and it showed. Tyson's determination was obvious. His responses to the media were sharp and direct, leaving no room for doubt about his intentions. He's been training like a man possessed, and the videos show a guy who is not just fit but outright dangerous. His punches still pack a wallop, and his movement is surprisingly agile for his age. It's clear Tyson is in this fight to win, not just to entertain. The boxing community is buzzing with all sorts of opinions about the upcoming fight between Mike Tyson and Jake Paul. Seriously, people can't stop talking about it. Boxing veterans and legends are chiming in with their mixed feelings, making this one of the most debated events in recent boxing history. Take Teddy Atlas, for instance. The guy is a renowned boxing trainer and commentator, and he didn't hold back in his analysis. He pointed out that even though Tyson is 58, his power is still something to fear. He talked about Tyson's quick-twitch muscle fibers and muscle memory, which haven't exactly taken a vacation.
The last things that go with a fighter is his power.
Yep.
I think this is a very dangerous fight for Paul.
Interesting.
I think he might be making a mistake.
Atlas warned that the first few rounds could be extremely dangerous for Paul because Tyson's power and technique are still lethal. This warning from someone as seasoned as Atlas has added a serious edge to the fight, making everyone realize the real risk Paul is taking. On the flip side, we've got Gilbert Arenas, the former NBA star, who's pretty worried about Paul's safety. Arenas even suggested that maybe Paul should be on some sort of protective steroids, not to get stronger, but just to survive Tyson's ferocious hits.
I don't know if Jake been hit yet.
He was half joking, but it does paint a vivid picture of Tyson's still terrifying power. Arenas' comments really underline the potential physical danger for Paul. And honestly, It's kind of hilarious in a dark way. Then there's Canelo Alvarez, the current pound-for-pound king in boxing, who decided to throw in some humor with his insight. When asked who would be a tougher challenge for him, Tyson or Paul, Alvarez jokingly said he might need to fight both at the same time to find it challenging.
Boxing is it's not a joke.
It's no joke.
His playful remarks subtly downplay the seriousness of Paul's challenge while giving a nod to Tyson's legendary status. Alvarez's humor brings a refreshing, albeit cheeky, perspective on the fight, suggesting that neither fighter poses a significant threat to someone of his caliber. As the fight draws closer, these expert opinions are shaping the narrative and building anticipation. The divided views from boxing's most respected voices have set the stage for a showdown that promises to be as unpredictable as it is exciting. And here, these guys aren't just talking about another celebrity boxing match. This one's got some serious stakes. First off, let's talk about Jake Paul. Since he jumped into professional boxing in 2018, he's been a pretty controversial figure. Love him or hate him, he's made a name for himself. But stepping into the ring with a legend like Mike Tyson? That's a whole different ballgame. If Jake loses, especially if he gets knocked out, it could be game over for his boxing ambitions. He's admitted the risk himself. A loss to Tyson would wreck his credibility and probably cost him a chunk of his fan base. For Jake, this fight isn't just about proving he's got what it takes. It's about keeping his career alive in a sport that doesn't forgive easily. On the flip side, we've got Mike Tyson. At 58, this fight is all about legacy for him. He wants to show everyone that he can still throw down with the best of them. His training videos on social media are pure fire. Tyson's last professional fight was back in 2005, but he's still one of the most iconic figures in boxing. By taking on a much younger Jake Paul, Tyson aims to shut up any doubters and cement his status as a timeless warrior. Public sentiment is heavily in Tyson's corner. Fans are rooting for Uncle Mike big time. It's not just about his skills in the ring, it's about his whole journey, his ups and downs, and his redemption story. The nostalgia factor is huge. People remember Tyson's prime and are pumped to see him back in action. The emotional weight behind this fight makes it way more than just a sporting event. It's a cultural moment. And then there's the money. Oh, the money. This fight is backed by Netflix and the Saudi government, so you know it's going to be a blockbuster. Netflix has thrown a ton of cash at this, ensuring top-notch production and a global audience. The Saudi involvement underscores the event's significance, aiming to boost their profile in international sports. This fight is set to pull in massive pay-per-view numbers and rake in serious revenue. We're talking figures well into the millions for both fighters. And finally, the much-anticipated boxing match between Jake Paul and Mike Tyson has taken a wild turn with Jake Paul canceling the fight, causing a whirlwind of reactions and speculation in the boxing community. At first, everyone was in shock. Jake backing out was unbelievable. But of course, Jake being Jake, he didn't leave us hanging for long. He made another headline-grabbing move by reaching out to KSI as a potential replacement opponent. And then, just to keep things interesting, he scheduled a fight with Mike Perry. This guy knows how to keep the spotlight, doesn't he? So, Jake Paul's sudden cancellation of the fight with Mike Tyson raised a lot of eyebrows. The fight, which was supposed to go down on November 15th, had been one of the most talked-about events with tons of media hype. Jake pulling out led to a barrage of questions. Was he scared to face a boxing legend like Tyson? Or was this a strategic move to dodge a potentially career-ending knockout? Fans and commentators were all over the place with their theories. In a surprising twist, Jake didn't waste any time finding a new opponent. His first pick was KSI, another YouTuber turned boxer with whom he has a long-standing rivalry. The two have a history of trash-talking and social media clashes, making KSI a natural choice for a high-profile bout. But KSI wasn't having it. Known for his confidence and big mouth, KSI basically laughed off Jake's challenge, suggesting that Jake was only interested in easier fights after realizing what a big deal facing Tyson would be. KSI's refusal just added more fuel to their ongoing rivalry, making things even juicier. With KSI out of the picture, Jake pivoted to another contender named Mike Perry. The announcement of Paul's fight with Perry brought mixed reactions. Mike Perry, known for his toughness and aggression, is a former UFC fighter with a reputation for being a brawler. Perry's transition to boxing has sparked interest because, let's face it, the guy knows how to throw a punch. Mike Perry, aka Platinum Perry, has had a colorful and controversial career in MMA. He's got 14 wins and 8 losses in the UFC, With most of his victories coming by knockout, Perry's style is all about brawling and heavy hands, making him a formidable opponent. His fights are often brutal and entertaining, thanks to his relentless pressure and willingness to trade punches. Perry's background makes him a tough challenge for Jake Paul. Unlike Jake's previous opponents, Perry has extensive experience in professional fighting, even if it's mainly in mixed martial arts. His striking skills and knockout power translate well to boxing, making him a credible threat to Jake's undefeated record. Perry's experience against high-level competition in the UFC brings a different level of intensity compared to the YouTubers and retired athletes Jake has fought before. Jake's decision to fight Perry instead of Tyson has everyone talking. Some critics say Jake is avoiding high-risk fights that could damage his carefully built boxing persona. Canceling the Tyson fight led to accusations that Jake is more interested in protecting his image and brand than taking on real challenges. The shift from Tyson to Perry might seem like a step down in terms of profile, but definitely not in terms of difficulty. On the flip side, Jake's supporters argue that Perry is a legit fighter with a proven track record of toughness and knockout power. They say fighting Perry is a smart move that balances risk and reward, giving Jake a credible opponent without the extreme danger of facing a legend like Tyson. Perry's fighting style promises an exciting and competitive match, appealing to both hardcore fight fans and Jake's massive social media following. As the fight with Mike Perry approaches, the boxing world is watching closely. This bout could either solidify Jake Paul as a serious contender in the boxing world or expose his limitations. Perry, with his aggressive style and knockout power, is not someone to be taken lightly. If Jake can win against Perry, it would be a major statement, proving that he can handle experienced fighters and potentially silencing some of his critics. This is one showdown you don't want to miss. Jake has been like this from day one, so it's no surprise. But hey, what do you think? Will he manage to keep the spotlight and win the match? Or is history going to repeat itself like the Tommy Fury fight? Let us know your thoughts.